Hello and welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is April 1st, 2021, and this is episode 256. Hey, we're looking at the Union today. This is the Britannia Project. This is Marvel number 4. Comes in at $3.99, and I love this comic. It's hilarious. To me, it's funny. Um, it's just really fresh, original, and unpredictable. I think those are three things I can say about it right off the bat. I think the team has done a great job on the art, the writing, and the color as far as that goes. The cover here, we see a picture of Choir. She's got a voice that can pretty much destroy stone and take down anything, and we show her screaming, and we see the rest of the Union kind of flying. Now, Choir used to be a villain, and her name was Scream when she was the villain. Not the one from the symbiote, but spelled a little bit different from that. And we've got snakes here. We've got, let's see, Union Jack, Kelpie, and Bulldog getting blown away. Just want to say that this actual shot here does not occur in the book, this depiction. She does use her powers, but they do not get thrown about like this. But anyway, let's proceed with this. Kind of a nice cover, though, overall. I can't remember. I think there was one other variant for this. Don't recall it right off the top of my head. Okay, for Queen and Country, the Union, the Britannia Project, Part 4, Doc Croc Bites Back. Okay, you get a nice little blurb of what's kind of happened before. This originally was a tie-in to the King in Black storylines that were going on. And after 2 issues, it spun off on the 3rd issue to its own story. And I have enjoyed it since the beginning. Britannia was actually the leader of the Union as it was being put together, but she died tragically by one of the symbiote dragons in the 1st issue. And so they've got Union Jack now filling in. He's the 3rd incarnation of the great British hero. He's kind of like a Batman and Deadpool guy mixed together. Except he doesn't have any superpowers. It's all human. But he's funny. He's a very funny guy. Then you have Snakes, and he's got the strength of 10 men. He's very big, and he can also turn into snakes, like a whole bunch of snakes. We have Kelpie. She can control water. The Choir, who is also known as Scream when she was a villain, and she was the one that's on the cover. She was kidnapped in the last issue, and so they are trying to save her currently. That's kind of the backstory on that. She's got the powerful voice. Bulldog, he'll just fight anybody. He's small but pugnacious. And then we have Selwyn James, who is he's kind of like the administrator for the group, but it turns out we found out in last issue that he has superpowers of his own, but he's kind of suppressing them, and I think it has something to do with Britannia, but I'm not quite sure. It's all been a secret, so they haven't exposed everything yet, and there's been new things that have come up all along, which is great. The writer on this is Paul Grist. The penciler was Andrea DeVito, no relation to Danny that I know of. LeBeau Underwood was the inker. Nolan Woodard is the colorist. And then we have VC's Travis Lanham on lettering, and the cover artist was R.B. Silva and David Curiel. So the art on the cover is a little bit different than what we're going to see inside the interior, but it's pretty good though. Take my word for it. Okay, right off the bat, we go 30 years back, and we see Britannia here. She is taking on Doc Croc, who's this mastermind. He uses a bunch of gadgets and things like that. He seems to be a pretty powerful gent in his own right, strong, but very debonair at the same time. So she is broken into this castle, and she just talks about how she had to fight everybody, and she can't believe how long she's been doing it. She first takes on Volcano, Volcano, I believe her name is, and gets her to overheat, and she falls out. And then we see the sponge attack. And the sponge is Selwyn James as a youngster. This is 30 years ago. And he pretty much, his power is he can take the power from the person he's fighting and use that against that person. And that's what he does here. He says, I'm the sponge. And he's able to actually knock Britannia down and take her power, steal her sword, and he's about to take her down. And for some reason he stops, even though Doc Croc is telling her to keep going. Now, Doc Croc's kind of an egotist, very, very much so. So for some reason he stops, and I'm not sure why. But I'm sure that will be revealed later issues. Then we go to today in London, and they're celebrating the union, this union that's been put together. They are sponsored by Darwin Industries, and here's Darwin. I think his name's Zachary Darwin. And even though they have the floats up here, they do show the choir, but she's missing. They just say, oh, she's not well. She's actually been kidnapped, and they're looking for her, and they don't have Bulldog up there floating around yet either. But suddenly this broadcast is interrupted by Doc Croc, and he goes on a rant and rave about how he was misunderstood and how they should be bowing to him and just going on. And then it fizzes back like nothing happened, back to Zachary Darwin talking about Darwin Tech and how they're with the Britannia project that's coming online. Britannia could only dream of it, and then it shows them, and then you could see they're just kind of a group that's just not gelling, and it's just funny to hear them talk to each other and the things they say. But they are deciding. They're at the Tower of London. They're deciding what to do next. If you've been to the Tower of London, it's kind of a fort, basically, but it's got some other stuff. I think the crown jewels are underneath, something like that. It's got a number of different rooms and whatnot. So one of the guys in here, Selwyn, is talking to the Prime Minister, saying, "What do you want us to do? You know, we got to do something." And the Prime Minister said, "Oh, he's not available right now. They're at 10 Downing Street." But whatever you need to do, go ahead and do it. So he's frustrated because he's not really getting any kind of direction. Meanwhile, this guy is like the leader of, this is Zachary Darwin, and he's got guards all the way around. You can see the Darwin Tech guards. And he's saying, don't worry, you guys are safe. We'll protect everything that's going on. And this dog comes in, and apparently this is some kind of cybernetic dog that's got kind of a sense of humor of itself. It can actually talk, but it's able to, I guess, release some kind of sleeping gas. And Darwin notices that, hey, something's going on here. All the person he's talking to who's pretending to be one of his guards, he realizes isn't. And so the cyber dog keeps walking in, and now we see a bunch of new groups here. But here's the choir. She's in her Scream outfit. Here's Volcana again. And now we have shimmering lights who can blind people and kind of put them in a hypnotic phase if she catches your eye, I guess, so to speak. So the group's saying, okay, well, they're in the building. Zachary Darwin's saying they're in the building. What are we going to do? It's like, okay, this is what we're going to do. Union Jack finally snaps to it. He's a very reluctant hero. And the other people, on top of that, the other group of the Union do not really want to listen to his commands. So Kelpie says, well, they're heading for the keep. I'll create a water block to stop them. But Shimmering Lights catches Kelpie's eye, and her power just vanishes, and she just goes to a puddle of water, incapacitated. Union Jack and Darwin's head down the stairs to the vaults, and meanwhile the villains just kind of march right in, and they come up on one of the who was it they came up on? Oh, snakes, I'm sorry. And the dog attacks Snakes, even though he likes dogs. Snakes likes dogs. He's like, he's able to kick Volcana and Lady Shimmering Lights away while tossing the dog. But Doc Croc has apparently light bands that trap Snakes and incapacitate him. I just want to mention Snakes, he talks telepathically, so even though he's not saying anything, everybody hears what he's thinking when he wants to talk. And so they head on down to the vault. They run across Bulldog, and Doc Croc just slaps a anti-gravity disc on his chest, and so that takes care of Bulldog. And inside the keep, we see Darwin is going to knock out Union Jack. So this is a turn of events we didn't see coming, because Darwin's been all along this, even since the first issue. Meantime, they're at the vault doors. The villains are at the vault doors, and there's a beefeater out there guarding the door. Says, "No, none shall pass." And she shoots Volcano shoots one of her fire molten magna beams at him, and he dodges it, saying, "You will not pass." And then this Scream just screams and knocks the beefeater out and knocks the doors in. And they come in, and they see Union Jack laying on the ground, and Doc Ock goes straight to the picture. They think they're going to go rob all the jewels, but he goes straight for the pictures. He's looking for the Empire Stone. He says it's in here behind this picture. And he goes to find it, and it's gone. And he comes out, and he finds that Zachary Darwin has taken it and is holding it. And he says, "But you can call me the Emperor." So it was his goal to steal this all along. It's to be concluded, so we'll see what happens to the next one. I don't know what happened to Selwyn James in this, but he is the Sponge, so we'll get a better backstory on him. Like I said, I'm really liking this. It's very original. It's very cheeky, as the English like to say. I don't know if the English approve of this one, but I certainly do. So thank you for stopping by and listening to my review. Here is the issue cover for the next one. And they've got that Ghost of Britannia back there again. So I don't know if she's absolutely gone, because she keeps appearing even though she was killed off in the first issue. She seems to play a fairly large role in these, even like in the flashback we saw with Sponge and Volcana, Doc Croc. So I have a feeling she may be back, because she looked pretty good in the first one. Okay, so that's it. Thanks for stopping in on my review of the Union, the Britannia Project, Part 4, Doc Croc Bites Back. But he gets bit at the end by Zachary Darwin of Darwin Tech. Who saw that coming? I certainly didn't. All right, please like, please subscribe, please leave comments if you haven't, or subscribe if you haven't, I should say. And we'll see you next time at the Temple of Tomes. I've got a few more. I think I have 4 more comic books to review from this week, and I'm looking forward to doing those. And this does get the good excavating seal of approval. It's a recommend if I haven't said so already. But get the whole series. See if you start with the King in Black. The first 2 were that, and then this, because it's been good. I think it's been fun. A very fun series. Okay. This is Indie Comics Jones, as always, bidding you adieu.